Okay, so here's a hard suvat problem, right? An air rocket leaves the ground straight up, strikes the ground 4.8 seconds later, right? And that's, of course, the time it takes to go up and down, right? So if here's your ground, then this rocket goes up and it comes down. And our first trick is, what time does it take to get to the top? Well, if the whole thing takes 4.8 seconds and it starts and ends at the same elevation, and we neglect air friction and the brief acceleration at the beginning, right? It's going to take 2.4 seconds to go up and 2.4 seconds to go down, right? And then the question is, how high does it go? What's its initial velocity? All these things, right? So 2 and 3 we can actually solve with a suvat like this, right? So we go S, U, V, A, T. And I'm going to go from here to here. So when you suvat, you always have to start someplace and end someplace, right? And so I know the time is 2.4 seconds, right? The acceleration is negative 9.81 meters per second squared. So as it goes up, it slows down, right? I know the final velocity at the top is 0, right? Remember, these are like the hardest ones, right? And now I know 3 of these things. I ought to be able to find those. So which one to use? Geez, this is a hard one. Okay, so let's see. Initial velocity. How high does it go? I think what we have to do, we don't have the formula that will give us S, I do believe, but we can find U. So I'm going to use this guy, right? S is U, T plus 1/2 AT squared. I do believe we can solve for U on that one, right? Oh no, we can't. Because we don't know S and U. Okay, see, this is good stuff, right? Okay, what else do we have? We've got S is U plus V. No, we can't do that. I think what we want to do is use one that's no S. Isn't that right? So I think we want to use V equals U plus AT. And this is, of course, the one that you have to memorize. Okay? So 0 equals U plus negative 9.81, right, times 2.4. Okay, so I'm finding the initial velocity, I guess, right? Okay. And so 9.81 times 2.4. And that just really didn't work so well because I said minus instead of times. 23.544. Meters per second. So with 2 sig figs, we'd have to, or 3 sig figs, we'd have to say 23.5, but we would use this. Okay, so 23.544. Okay, now we want to find S, and we can use any formula we want. We could use this formula now that I wanted to pull out in the first place, right? We could use that formula to find S, but this one's a lot simpler, right? S is U plus V over 2 times T. And since we have to use U anyway, right, we don't have a formula that uses V, right? We don't have a no U formula, right? We can use this one, right? So then that's equal to 23.544 plus 0 over 2 times 2.4, right? So that times 2.4 divided by 2. 28 S is 28.2528 meters. So that's the height of this thing, right? It goes all the way up here. This distance here is 28.2528 meters, right? Is that distance there? So that is our height, 28.2 meters, 2.4 seconds to the top. And then the final question here is, what is the velocity at 21 meters elevation, right? So we're going to have to re-suvat that. Here's the ground. It goes up, it goes down. It's 2.4 seconds up and 2.4 seconds down. And this elevation here is 28.2528 meters, right? So at 21 meters, that's putting us about right like there, right? That might be 21 meters. 21 meters. we can re-suvat, right? And of course, at 21 meters, it's going to pass that on the way up and the way down. There should be two answers for this, right? So S, U, V, A, and T. Our initial velocity is still our 23.544 meters per second. Our final is not 0. In fact, that's what we're trying to find. It's not 0 because it's not at the top, right? Okay, so this is negative 9.81. Our time isn't 2.4 because it's not at the top. Oh, S, we know what S is. S is our 21 meters, right? Right, and now we want one that doesn't have T because we're solving for V, and that one is V squared is U squared plus 2AS, right? It's been a while since I've done this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, what are we solving? We're solving for V, so that's easy, right? So that's gonna, V is gonna be the square root of, let's draw a straight line to separate this. Not too straight. Okay, so it's gonna be 23.544 squared plus 2 times negative 9.81 times 21, right? So square root, left parenthesis, 23.544 squared plus 2 times negative 9.8. Don't forget the negative on the 9.81, right? Otherwise it'll be going faster, for example, times 21. And I get that the absolute, this is really the absolute value of V. The absolute value of V is 11.93 meters per second, which means it was going plus 11.9 on the way up and minus 11.9 on the way down. Isn't that cool? So the physics formula gives us the possibility of it being positive or negative. Yay. That's the hardest kind of suvat problem, right?